Hello, everyone. Welcome to the orientation for the Veritas AI Fellowship Program or all Veritas AI one-on-one programs for the summer. It is so nice to be meeting everyone. Thank you so much for attending. Good morning if you're based in the US. Good evening if you're based in an Eastern time zone. Good middle of the day or middle of the night if you are somewhere in between those places. Awesome. So my name is Tyler Moulton. I am here with Kathy, our wonderful program ops lead. Together, we're going to be talking you through today the fellowship program or all of our one-on-one programs and just orienting you into the wonderful world of AI learning that you're going to be doing this summer. Awesome. So with that in mind, just wanted to start off with a few slides about Veritas AI to just ground set, give a little bit of background before we talk a little bit more nitty-gritty about the program itself. Awesome. So in terms of who we are, so Veritas AI mission is to make AI education accessible for ambitious high school students around the world. AI, as many of you know from your own high school, is not typically in the high school curriculum. If anyone here is in the Bay Area or in a specialized science school, maybe you have access to AI opportunities, but typically AI is something that's not usually made accessible to younger students. Our goal is to change that and bring AI into the younger academic space. We do this by having students work on real world projects under the guidance of talented and relatable mentors. So all of our mentors are either young PhD students or candidates who are working on innovative AI research, or they're young industry researchers or career scientists who are using AI in their work. And our goal is to connect you to them so that you can work on fantastic high-level AI projects at a young age. And we further encourage our students to take their AI projects forward and share them with the larger scientific community. So a big part of what we'll talk about today also is how you can showcase and disseminate the research or AI work you're doing with us through academic venues like publications, like competitions, and all that fun jazz. In terms of the team, so to give you a quick overview of Veritas AI HQ, or the logistics and academic support team. So we have a wonderful central team of program operations support members who are here to help you. Stephen is our wonderful director. I'm serving as our head of academics. Here I mentioned we have with us today Kathy, our program manager, our head of program operations. Also not here today, but worth shouting out are Ruchika and Casey, who work very closely with Kathy on the program operations and management team, as well as Harishri, who works close with me on the academic or publication team. A lot of you will be working directly with Kathy and or Casey one-on-one in the program as your program manager, and Harishri one-on-one as a publication specialist. We'll talk more about these support members later in the call, but we're all excited to meet you, and it's so nice to be here with you today on behalf of Kathy and I. And one quick slide, I just want to take a moment to shout out our wonderful curriculum leads. These are the AI nerds without whom this program would not be possible. They've designed our group class curriculum for any of you who have heard of our AI scholars or our deep dives. They have designed a lot of our curriculum for guiding students with a fellowship as well. Patrick, Yishao, and Dash are just some of the original leaders in our curriculum space. I'm really excited to still have them on our team and for all they've done to help drive us forward. Awesome. So what I want to do in this first slide today before getting into the real kind of like nitty-gritty details of all the programs is I just want to take one quick slide to give an overview of our major programs we're covering today and talk a little bit about the nuances of what we're going to be covering. So everyone here, I hope, is in one of these three programs. They're either in the Junior Fellowship, which is our one-on-one program for middle school students. They're in our AI Fellowship, our one-on-one program for high school students, or they're in our AI Accelerator, which is our advanced long-term one-on-one AI program for high school students. So just to give a quick overview of the big differences. So I would say these columns, or rather these rows, show us some key differences between each of these programs. So in the Junior Fellowship, your goal is to build out a research paper and or some kind of AI research showcase, be that a website or an app. You'll do that over 12 one-on-one sessions with a mentor. And your goal is to build a novel AI model in your area of interest that translates to that paper or that app. In the junior publishing space, or rather in the junior academic space for middle school students, there is not any kind of major journals that are available. And so the Junior Fellowship is a much less expensive program by virtue of the fact that we can't provide publication support to you. If anyone does a Junior Fellowship and is in 8th grade, and by the end of the program ends up with a really exciting project, or really just as a rising 9th grader wants to talk about publication, You can definitely publish once you're in high school. So get in touch with us as you move forward past the fellowship, and we'll be happy to help you. Speaking of publication, though, the AI Fellowship is all about everything the Junior Fellowship has and publishing. So the goal of the AI Fellowship is identical to the Junior Fellowship in building out a individualized AI model that translates to a paper and or an app, a website. And because high school students have publication options, we also will support you towards trying to publish that work. And so that's why you have 15 one-on-one sessions for the AI Fellowship. The last 3 extra sessions are dedicated towards any support you need trying to publish or showcase your AI work. And the main difference between the Accelerator and the AI Fellowship, our 2 main flagship high school programs, is basically just we're doubling all the outputs. I mean that in 3 ways. So the number of meetings get doubled for the AI Accelerator. The complexity of project, we also say more or less gets doubled. 12 sessions in this AI Fellowship are spent on building the project. 24 are spent on the Accelerator. So your goal is to build a higher level project with more advanced AI methods, more advanced applications. And the third final way we double support in the AI Accelerator is that you're also looking towards 2 outputs in this program. You're looking towards both a publication and a science fair or a competition. So our goal is to support students on trying to showcase in multiple ways in the Accelerator. One last note or flag just before I dive into the rest of the body of today's orientation is that the fellowship is going to be kind of the main reference point I have for today. That's what this fun little star is next to the AI fellowship name. So what I'll be doing kind of throughout the presentation today is talking very clearly about the AI fellowship. And as we move through the presentation, I'll make very clear references to how the points I'm making differ for the junior fellowship and the accelerator. So I'll try to make that clear along the way. Awesome. One last thing to note is that if anyone has any questions throughout the presentation today, please feel free to throw it in the chat or the Zoom chat rather, and I will be sure to get to it as it comes up throughout the presentation. If anyone has any deeper questions, this presentation should only take, I'm going to say, around 35, 40 minutes. So we'll definitely have plenty of extra time at the end. If that happens, by all means, and you want to save your questions for a longer conversation, just wait until after the session, and then we'll talk to you one-on-one. Awesome. So that is the overview, though, of our programs. Let's dive a bit more in depth into describing our fellowship or our one-on-one program and its complexities. So the overall program goal for the AI fellowship is to help students build a machine learning, deep learning model that solves a real world problem or explores an interesting question about the world. We want to help you drive impact in your understanding of the world through AI. So the final machine learning model will then be presented in an externally public forum, typically a research paper and industry report. If you're in a high school program member, so if you're in the AI fellowship, not junior fellowship, or you're in the accelerator, we're further going to support you towards publishing this final report and showcasing it. The program traditionally takes place over 12 weeks. Junior fellowship and AI fellowship, that's the same thing. We expect students to have a strong coding background or to completed AI Scholars. If you don't know what AI Scholars is, don't worry, it's our original intro group class. If you're getting into the program, though, and want some refresh on your coding skills or some more AI curriculum, definitely get in touch with us on the program management team or your mentor, and we'll help give you some of the materials we have for AI Scholars or similar learning opportunities. Awesome. So in terms of the program structure, so I would say that the program is separated into 2 key parts or phases. This is true of remember, the AI Fellowship and the AI Accelerator. So the first phase is the core AI Fellowship. It's intended to take place over 12 weeks with 5 deadlines geared towards enabling students to build a strong final AI model, report, and overall project. This is the entirety of the fellowship for the junior fellowship. And again, the core phase of the program for the AI Fellowship and AI Accelerator when you're gearing up to finish your project. And the accelerator is 24 weeks. The second phase of the high school program is the AI Fellowship or AI Accelerator publication phase, which usually will last on average 3 to 4 months, but will vary depending on your journal, your opportunities, etc. In this phase, we're going to be supporting you towards submission to your academic journal and or your academic competition conference. And this phase will conclude when a student publishes. The difference between the core program and the core phase and the publication phase is that the core phase should be the same for every student in each program. In the AI fellowship, you should always spend 12 weeks to finish your fellowship. But the publication phase, again, will vary based on your journal and will just translate forward, or we'll keep supporting you until you wrap up or publish. Students begin the publication phase as soon as their project or core fellowship ends, and then the phase usually involves addressing edits from journals, some resubmission if needed, just moving forward on publishing and competitions. Awesome. So we'll use this next section to go more in depth on the core AI fellowship or the core AI accelerator and talk through the deadlines that delineate wrapping up the project itself in the junior fellowship, AI accelerator. Awesome. So in terms of the core AI fellowship program timeline, I would separate the program or the 12 weeks into 5 key phases. These are weeks 1 through 3 when students are doing topic selection, skill building, data set identification. This is when you work with your mentor to refine your topic, make sure it's addressable with an AI methodology, and identify the relevant data to be able to work on that project. In weeks 4 through 6, you'll do some exploratory data analysis. You'll select your initial machine learning or deep learning algorithm. In week 7 through 9, you'll create that algorithm, iterate on it, and you'll do some initial paper writing and development. You'll write out your intro, your methods, write a draft to your paper. In weeks 10 to 11, you're going to wrap up your AI model and you're going to wrap up your presentation or your research paper report. And then in week 12 onwards, you're going to finish and submit that project to your publications. You'll go into your publication phase. Awesome. Now for the Core AI Accelerator program timeline, you'll see that it's pretty much an identical timeline, but ultimately a different number of weeks per timeline. Main reason for this is just that in the AI Accelerator, you're still working on a data science project. You're still doing the same broad thing, but again, you're working on a higher level project with a longer timeline. So in the AI Accelerator, we separate weeks as 1 through 3 being for topic selection, skill building, data set identification. Now weeks 4 through 10 will about EDA and collecting the algorithm. You'll probably do a lot of time in weeks 4 through 10 skill building as well to make sure you can do a more advanced, perhaps a deep learning based project in the accelerator. Weeks 11 through 17, you'll create that algorithm, you'll iterate on it, you'll do some initial paper writing and development. Weeks 18 to 24, you'll complete your model and you'll complete your high-level paper, as well as any other deliverables that go into your outputs. For instance, if you're trying to do a competition, we'll help you make a poster as well. And then from week 24 onwards, you'll finish and submit your project, and you'll have those last 6 meetings dedicated to both competitions and publication support. Awesome. So in the Core AI Fellowship, Junior Fellowship Accelerator, it's really, really important that you meet your deadlines. This is something that you will hear from your program manager, your publication specialist, your mentor. Everyone in the program will be very clear with you about how important it is to meet your deadlines. Every student in the program is going to be assigned for our Junior and AI Fellowship 6 key deadlines as part of the Core AI Fellowship. These get summarized in just a couple slides. Deadlines in the program are scaffolded, so the student can incrementally build towards a high-level project. What a scaffolded deadline means for any education nerds in the crowd is that our deadlines build on each other so that you can build better and better project by the end by working on the deadlines along the way. For instance, the second deadline, we'll talk about later, the proposal, doing a good job there helps set the foundation for an even better paper down the line. So make sure you're hitting all your deadlines as that relates to building the highest possible level final product or final research paper. Deadlines are non-negotiable in this program, and they're essential to the development of credible and publishable projects. Every single student is expected to make every single deadline, and anyone who knows they will need flexibility on any deadline should get in advanced touch with their program manager, with their academic support team to make sure that we can highlight your deadlines and carve them out relevant for your knowledge, your mentor knowledge, and to move forward effectively. Finally, mentors and students will receive a list of the students' respective deadlines at the beginning of the cohort. So in this next week, as you get launched, you're going to receive a list of your deadlines, or if you're starting later in the summer, you'll get this list later, of course. You'll get a reminder email also before every single deadline. And if you ever miss a deadline, a reminder email after. So we'll send you a kind of expectation or ground setting email at the beginning of your fellowship or program to give you all your deadlines. And then we'll remind you along the way as well. Awesome. So in terms of our key deadlines, so for our junior fellowship and our core fellowship, these 5 top deadlines are the ones that delineate your program. And then there's one extra deadline also for the high school program. So the deadlines for the junior and AI fellowship are in week 3, submitting a project title and data set. So again, you need to have a project topic in mind, and you have to have a data set that can be used to effectively address that AI problem and be used with an AI method. In week 4, you'll submit a project proposal and declare your publication goals. You'll kind of propose for us in a bit more depth what your project is and how you'll be implementing it. In week 6, you'll submit an exploratory data analysis. We'll give more context on this and everything else in our Scholar guidebook or our fellow guidebook. But with that in mind, EDA is just an initial analysis of the data, visuals, and inputs to what you're analyzing. In week 9, you'll submit a draft final report. And in week 12, you'll submit your revised final report. And again, in the AI fellowship for high school students, we'll also in week 13 submit your publication submission. Awesome. So for example, deadlines for a June 5th start, just wanted to highlight that we have, for instance, a student starting right now will be submitting week 3, June 23, their project title data set. June 30th, they'd submit their proposal. July 14th, the EDA. August 4th, the draft report. August 25th, the final report before September 1st publication submission date. This just gives you a little bit of an easier feel for how these deadlines project onto y'all's summer that is about to kick off, especially if you're starting this week. Awesome. So in terms of the Core AI accelerators, again, we have a different set of deadlines for this program as a longer term program. We have just effectively more scaffolded deadlines to think critically about building that higher level project. So again, week 3, you'll have that project title and data set. Week 4, you'll have your proposal. And week 6, you'll submit a project outline. So we spend a bit more time on that foundation building in the AI accelerators, so that you build this outline before going into the project itself. And week 7, separately, you declare your publication goals. And week 10, you'll submit your EDA. And week 13, you'll submit your AI modeling and analysis. This is kind of like your methodology for your AI project. And week 15, you'll submit your final report, your method and results section specifically. And week 18, you'll now have all the components from those previous deadlines to submit your draft final report. Week 22, you'll submit your revised final report. And in week 24, you'll start the publication process, similar to week 12 plus in the high school fellowship or junior fellowship. Awesome. So in the Core AI Fellowship Accelerator, you'll make submissions via the student submission portal. Please make sure to bookmark this page and any other pages we give you that are consistent reference points in the program. They're really, really helpful to have. And how you'll make a submission to remember every single deadline, which every single student should make. Awesome. And then for the Core AI Fellowship, what each deadline of submission requires. So we have, again, a fellowship student guidebook. And for guidance on how to complete each required submission deadline, you can refer to this guidebook for detailed guidance on every single individual deadline that you have. Awesome. So that covers the core phase of the AI Fellowship and the AI Accelerator. Remember that the publication phase that we're about to cover does not refer to the junior fellowship. There are, though, some competitions that are available to middle school students. There are no publications, but there are publications available to once you're done with your 8th grade and in high schoolers. So if any junior fellows want to learn a little bit about what publication looks like in case they want to publish later, or because they want to learn about some competitions, feel free to hang on here. But this next section of the publication phase is mainly geared towards our high school AI fellowship and our high school AI accelerator. Awesome. So let's talk about publication in a nutshell. So there's so many different ways you can disseminate your research as part of the Fellowship Accelerator program for high schoolers. One of the main ways that we support students, since a lot of you guys will write reports, is on publishing in academic journals. So to describe publication in a nutshell, or to talk about publication, I think it's important to give you guys this important kind of basic foundation to understand how it works. Just to let you know that we'll have an entire workshop on publication for fellows at the end of week 2, so like in a week and a half from if you're starting now. For now, though, I can summarize this in a nutshell in 3 steps. So publishing an AI report or a research paper is 1, identifying an incredible venue to share your AI report, like an academic journal. 2, prepping your final report to submit to that venue for consideration, so formatting for that venue's requirements, following their submission guidelines. And then step 3 is if that venue is interested in your paper or in your project, you'll move forward as indicated by them to ultimately disseminate or showcase or publish it there. And if the venue is not interested, that's okay. You just restart at step 1, looking at another venue that works. Awesome. So to prep for the AI Fellowship publication phase, you're going to be supported and provided writing, formatting, and high school journal selection support from a publication team. So we'll support you from the publication team, me and Harshri I mentioned earlier, before you even move into the post-program publication phase. So part of the core fellowship will include this prep, but publication is not your primary goal in the core fellowship. Completing the project is. Again, though, along the way, we'll be there to help make sure you understand and build out necessary understanding and paper prep with publication in mind. So the publication team will help you provide initial guidance and skill building related to academic publishing in week 2. We'll provide you guidance in journal selection over weeks 3 to 5. We'll provide you guidance in data science paper writing and access to templates in weeks 6 to 9. And in weeks 10 to 12, we'll give you guidance on formatting and submission. So we'll guide you from initial publication strategy development, learning about publication, identifying journals, to the final step of being ready to submit by the end of the program. Awesome. So with that in mind, if you ever have any questions on publication and report writing, please reach out to me, Tyler.Moulton at Luminaire.Education or at veritasai.com. You'll also have access, all of you will be working one-on-one with Harshri, so you'll also have access to her in email in just a couple days or whenever you get started. Once you submit to publication in week 12 of the fellowship, week 24 of the accelerator, a typical publication timeline or a timeline a journal can be given by this potential overview. So goal here, again, is to give you a sense of what the publication phase timeline can look like. Let me be super clear that different students have to submit to different number of journals. They submit to different journals. This timeline varies so much. And as this asterisk notes, every timeline is different. But let me give you one of many average examples of what can happen in the publication phase. So again, it can usually be 3 to 4 months on average. First phase of the publication phase might have a student after submitting the publication just waiting to hear back on review. This first month, you're just waiting. There's no active work on your part. Remember, the publication phase has 3 meetings with the mentor. You don't take them all at once or immediately. Take them as you need them. In month 1 to 2, maybe you'll get your first review from a really selective reach target, and maybe you'll get rejected. That's okay. Rejections are common in the research publishing space. That's fine. You'll just submit to your backup and wait to hear back on your review. All you'll do here is work very quickly with your publication specialist. Just reformat your paper, make small cosmetic changes, and resubmit. And month 2 to 3, maybe you'll hear back from the second journal. You'll get edits from the backup journal. That is great. You'll now implement the edits. You'll work with both your mentor and your publication specialist to make that work happen. And then you'll resubmit. In month 3 to 4, again, you're just waiting, so you're not doing anything. And in month 4 to 5, yay, you've heard you're accepted. You'll get accepted in month 4. Maybe you'll make very, very small copy edits from the journal and you'll publish. As you'll see, the publication phase of the research or the AI process is very off and on. You have places where you're doing a little bit of work, places where you're doing a lot of work. Waiting to get your project published is a much more on and off process. That makes sense though. Remember, the core fellowship is 12 weeks. We want you to finish the fellowship in your summer. We want the publication phase to be something that you're doing on and off because we know it'll be your school year and a lot busier. But this is one of many potential timelines, just to mention that again. Awesome. So that is an overview of the publication phase. Now let's talk for everyone, Junior Fellowship, AI Accelerator, about who is your academic support team. Each student will have a support network, a mentor, a program manager, and a publication strategist. And all 3 of these support members are working together to make sure that you have a final project output and project support to drive forward effectively on your fellowship. The mentor is the core resource and guide for the student over the course of the program. Especially in the core fellowship, they are integral to helping you finish your project and helping a student with journal edits or deliverable edits during the publication phase. In the core fellowship, the student and the mentor meet weekly for about an hour. The mentor will help a student A, build the necessary skills to complete the project, B, co-identify and scope out the project with the student, and C, provide feedback to the student on their work. Mentors will also be tapped in as necessary to ensure you're meeting your relevant deadlines. So please just note, you're also going to be accountable to not only the program, but your mentor for making sure you're doing the work needed to finish up your deadlines. Make sure you're doing them for the sake of you and your mentor and driving the project forward. Awesome. So we love to think about and give a bit more context on how the mentor role evolved over the course of the fellowship. So in the core fellowship, we would say mentors play 3 key roles, and each role provides different guidance to you as a student. So role 1 is really a teacher. The beginning of the program is when remember, the mentor is going to help you identify whether or not your AI project topic is implementable, help you find data for it. They're also going to help you build the necessary AI skills to implement a high-level project. In phase 2, they're going to be serving as a manager. So just like a manager leads a team of data scientists or leads data scientists, they're going to be leading you in implementing and making sure that you execute on your AI project. And finally, in the last stage of the program, they help function as a reviewer. In your final report or your final product or body of work, they're going to help you review it, assess it, refine it, and make it as strong as possible as the program closes out. Awesome. So the next piece of mention is just the program manager role. The program manager is your key logistical guy during the program, especially during the core AI fellowship. The program manager is going to be the person with the biggest and best bird's eye view of the overall program and how it's structured. So if during the core AI fellowship you have any questions about what's going on, you're lost, talk to your program manager. Someone amazing like Kathy, can absolutely help. Your program manager is going to oversee all your deadlines and ensure you're sticking to those deadlines throughout the program. They're going to follow up with you as needed to make sure you're accountable to they're going to make sure that you're accountable to the program and your deadlines. Make sure that you are as accountable to your program manager as you are to your mentor. If you have any deadline extension or flexibility, please get in touch with your program manager. If you ever have problems with you and your mentor losing touch for a couple days, or if you have problems accessing this Scholar guidebook, get in touch with your PM. They are a logistical expert. Awesome. The publication strategist role. So again, the publication strategist, there's support on all things publication, more on the academic side. Once you complete the core AI fellowship, the publication strategist will be your key program manager for the publication phase. So we like to say that the program manager role is there for you in the core AI fellowship. The publication strategist is the core person for your publication phase. The majority of interactions with the publication strategist during the core fellowship will occur over email. You're always welcome to request a one-on-one meeting with the strategist as needed, but we'll primarily interface with you over email with structuring and formatting your report, selecting target journals, submitting a publication. We're likely going to be more meeting first with you towards the end of the program. But again, if you ever need anything from us through a one-on-one meeting, just get in touch. Awesome. But yeah, with that in mind, that's your key program support, your mentor, your program manager, and your publication strategist. This, I believe, last section of the session just covers general logistics and resources as you guys look either right after this call or sometime this summer to get started. So awesome. Biggest guidebook I want to recommend, or sorry, biggest resource I want to recommend is our AI Fellowship Student Guidebook. This is the end-all be-all resource for the junior and AI fellowship, delineating how each deadline works, how the overall program works. For each deadline, we'll give you an example page for each deadline and a reference template, reference examples. We'll give you logistical information, important links like your student meeting update tracker, like for instance, your student submission portal. So again, everything you can possibly need is in this guidebook. Please take time to review it as you start off your program. It will do so much for setting you up for a smooth journey. Awesome. Again, another reminder of the student submission portal, that is hint, hint, wink, wink in the guidebook, but it is also just something that we want to critically emphasize. You need to submit your deadlines via the portal, so make sure that you're making a note of this. Awesome. So in terms of the fellowship code of conduct, so one thing we want to just highlight is student expectations. We have a code of conduct in place that is on the guidebook again, but also something we want to cover here. Make sure that you are always being respectful and polite to any mentor, Veritas AI staff, or fellow AI fellow or student you're engaging with. Make sure you respond to emails within 24 hours, and we will do our best to do the same. Respect meeting times you and your mentor have agreed on. If you need to reschedule a meeting, give us 48 hours notice. Fill out the meeting tracker after every call. Fill out the submission portal for every submission and deadline. Make sure you're hitting every single one of these expectations to the best of your abilities. If you have any questions on these expectations, please get in touch with us and we'll be happy to help out. Awesome. One thing that a person quickly mentioned as we start to get into questions is also just asking via the chat, what kind of computer requirements do we have for the course? There are no specific requirements, to be very clear. Majority of AI programs, as you'll soon learn, can be run on a modern laptop, so no major requirements. And if you have any further requirements for your project, you and your mentor will identify those. Awesome. That one question is a great transition though into using the rest of our time today to chat through any and all questions. So thank you, everyone. That is the end of the main session today. Appreciate your time so much. If anyone has any questions they want to put into the chat or talk through right now, feel free to hang on. Otherwise, Kathy, do you have anything that you want to say to the students before I let anyone go?
Yeah, just really quickly, I will be sending out a form that I need you guys to fill out for attendance purposes. So I'll be sending that along in the chat. And if you have no other questions, feel free to leave this meeting after you answer the form. And in case you don't want to answer or ask questions in this meeting, you can also reach out to us via email anytime. So we'll be here to respond to all your questions. So thank you for coming. Yes, I'll share across the link to the slides after this meeting also. So I'll be sending everyone a recording of the meeting plus access to the slides so that you guys can look through the slides again if you need to.
Awesome. Thank you, Kathy. So everyone, please fill out the attendance form. If you have any questions, feel free to throw them out right now. Otherwise, once you finish the attendance form, feel free to drop off. It is so lovely to meet so many of you, and I'm excited to have you as part of the program very, very soon. Yeah, so someone asked for high school students, if you get rejected from the backup publication, do you still help us find one that will publish our journal? Absolutely. So in the AI Fellowship, we support students on minimum 3 publications, and in the Accelerator, we support on minimum 3 publications plus 1 minimum competition. So if you get rejected from 2+ journals, we'll still help you on a third. We also like to tell students that as long as you post 2 to 3 rejections, follow our strategy, we'll still help you towards publishing. The only kind of exception here is if you get rejected from 3 professional journals, which are very advanced for high schoolers, and then demand to move forward in professional journals, that is the only one of the only examples where we'd pause support. So yeah, we'll definitely help you. Our goal is to help you until you publish or until you showcase your work. Awesome. So someone asked, the student guidebook also have the additional resources for coding linked as well for those who would like to review. It's been a while. Kathy, does the student guidebook have those resources? If not, if anyone has any questions, get in touch with me, tyler.moulton@veritasai.com, and or Kathy and or just our program management team, and we'll help out on giving you those resources if they're not in the guidebook. Otherwise, this is a great reason for you to review the guidebook and see what is there as it relates to having a smooth program. Awesome. So what is the difference on complexity level from a college level and a high school level journal? So in terms of the world of AI, there's a lot of ways in which AI is more professionally presented in college and professional level journals. Usually in professional level journals, for instance, 2 things that a AI paper will have are interpretability and explainability. These are how easily the AI model can be interpreted and well explained. Oftentimes, a high school paper might not have a very in-depth, if may not cover these, if not go in depth on them at all, and they might not be very mature. As you get into the program, you will learn more and more about what delineates kind of an advanced AI project. If Ishika, you're looking for more guidance on what delineates these kinds of journals, get in touch with the publication strategist over the next couple of weeks. She can send you examples of high school level machine learning papers and college level papers, and you'll see there's a big difference in how advanced the outputs are. Awesome. Flobo asks, how high is the publication success rate? So roughly 70% of our students in the fellowship and accelerator who finish the program do successfully publish. So the majority of our students do successfully publish. Really, the publication success rate is delineated, I would say, most critically by students being willing to move forward and put in the work needed. Publication, you'll note it from our earlier timeline, always involves work after the program. The 70% of students successfully publish have the grit and are putting in the work necessary to move forward. Often the last 20 to 30% of students either don't have time during the academic year or choose not to move forward. Someone asked, are the meetings with the mentor on the weekends or does it depend on the student? So it depends entirely on the student in the weekend. The student and the mentor. When you apply to the program and the fellowship, you told us a little bit about your availability. Mentors, as part of providing their slots or availability for summer, do the same thing. We pair you with mentors who can meet with you at mutually convenient times. So it really depends on how you apply to the program and your mentor. And you'll be introduced to your mentor very soon if you haven't already to figure out when you're going to be meeting. Yes, you meet with mentors usually traditionally once a week. So in the core, in the AI fellowship, the one-on-one program with publication for high schoolers, it's 12 weeks to finish the project, once a week over the summer. And then it's on and off support after. To be clear, we can support students on individualized timelines. So if you have specific weeks you take off, we can take those weeks off. If you haven't, but we will specifically move your deadlines with that in mind. But yeah, just make sure that you're aligned with your mentor for any and all extensions. Same thing with your program manager, and we'll make sure you have the customized program to move forward. Awesome. So someone asked, how can I schedule the first meeting with my mentor? So the first meeting with your mentor will be something that we kick off your program. You'll get a message most likely from Kathy as you start the program that initiates your onboarding or your start of the program. That email will very clearly say, here is your mentor, please meet with them. So you will get an email as your program starts to kick off that first meeting. If you're starting in June, you should get this email within this next few days, I believe, or the next couple of days. If you have any questions, again, reach out to Kathy and I, and we'll help you out with that.
Yeah, I just want to add to that most of our students will be starting in June 10th. So you can expect an email to be sent to your inbox or to expect to receive an email by then. But for those who are on the combination program, they will start after they finish their AI Scholars program. Also, I want to add to Urim's question. Usually we do ask the students to meet with their mentors once a week, but since it's a summer and students are generally more free, if you want to meet more than once a week with your mentor, that's also very possible and it'll shorten your program length. But aside from meeting with your mentors more than once a week, we expect you to also put in the appropriate amount of hours through the homeworks just to make sure that you're on track and have steady progress per week. Also, for Claire's question on the student guidebook, if I'm not mistaken, we currently do not have that much additional resources for coding, but our mentors are equipped with teaching resources. So during your meetings, if you feel like you're trapped on a certain area, the mentors do have some resources that they can share across so that you could also practice on your own time, but also you could ask the mentors to discuss the topics with you and they'd be more than happy to like further expand on whatever you're having trouble with. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kathy.
Thank you. So
Amazing. Someone asked, does the mentor also provide any specific study guide for building a project other than the mentoring during the meeting? So I would say in terms of a study guide for your project, that's what the fellowship guidebook is. We give you clear deliverables. We give you examples and templates for each deliverable. The mentor will be working with you to make sure that the fellowship curriculum adapts to your specific project. So remember, weeks 1 and 3 are about topic selection, skill building, data set analysis. They will work with you to make sure that the project you are going to implement is within scope or within reason for you and your skill level, and just for AI to be even used to solve. And they'll make sure also that something that can follow the fellowship timeline, thinking about how much time you have to write up your project. Awesome. So no one's putting any questions in the chat. Everyone feel free to jump as you feel comfortable and ready to leave. Otherwise, feel free to keep putting questions in the chat, and Kathy and I will just be here for the next few minutes answering anything. Someone said I'm away from home and my internet connection is poor. I missed the answer to the first question. Who should we reach out to for logistical support? So for any and all logistical support, you'll reach out to your program manager. Yes, the link to the guidebook will be sent to you as part of your onboarding material. So you'll get the guidebook link as you kick off the program. And I think it may also be linked in this presentation. So Kathy mentioned earlier, she's going to be sending the recording and slides. It should be linked in this presentation. If it's not, you can just follow up and we'll be happy to give it to you in advance of starting. Oh, so for reaching out to anyone for logistical help, so you should reach out to the program management team. Kathy is the head of program ops, so she dropped her email in the chat earlier. For the best person for kind of broad logistical help, reach out to Kathy or your program manager. If you don't know your program manager, defer to Kathy. Awesome. For those left in the Zoom room, let us know if you have any last questions and we'll keep answering them. Otherwise, wishing you guys a wonderful day and or night, evening, afternoon ahead. Awesome. So Karmik asked, when can I find the additional content to revise and go through the things that are taught in the AI Scholars program? So as Kathy mentioned earlier, each of your mentors is going to be trained and have knowledge and resources on the AI Scholars curriculum. All of our mentors know all of our programs. And so as part of getting additional content to revise and go through, you can ask your mentor for that as part of your first meeting. If you want that information in advance of kicking off your program, get in touch with Kathy and I, and we'll be sure to touch base with our mentor team and give you appropriate resources in the meantime. Hello. Should we pause the recording?